Welcome to Grace by Rain, a podcast about the beauty in life. I'm your host, Elaine Shercliffe. Hello, I'm back. Before we hop in to the beauty of the Griffins, because it's Monday, and that's what this is, there's a few things I just want to kind of discuss. One, I finally got something to put on the wall behind me. Yeah, that's right. I cover a team in Michigan, and right there, it's my boy Brutus. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can take the girl out of Ohio, but you can't take the Ohio out of the girl. Okay? I mean, honestly, though, look at this. Like the best. Okay, even if you're just a sports fan, it is clearly one of like the greatest moments in history in sports, right? You have Brutus Xing out the M in the Michigan end zone, spelling out Ohio in script. I mean, it's sassy. It's everything that a rivalry should be. And I'm all for it, baby. I'm all for it. I love a good rivalry. Spicy. um, uh, Now saying that, please don't stop listening to my podcast because you hate Ohio State. I love you guys. Actually, I mean, if you stopped watching because of that, I totally understand because if someone had a whole bunch of Yankee stuff on the wall behind them, I wouldn't be able to watch it on YouTube and I probably wouldn't be able to unsee it. So I understand. I understand if you're my special kind of crazy. All right. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, when are you coming back? Where are you? Why weren't you recording? Why haven't you been writing as much? I like to be very open and honest with people about these sort of things. And I probably should have been more honest with my friends at the time. uh, I was incredibly depressed. Moving here, all the changes, it got to me. I now have a better understanding of players and why maybe they go through that slump the first time they're really away from their family. I didn't 100% get it, right? Like I've lived away from my parents a few times, but I always was living with family. Even when I lived in Oregon, I was living with family. So the holidays were really rough, and there were just so many life changes that happened in such a short amount of time that I just kind of I didn't adjust well right away. And I also put a lot of pressure on myself, right? Like I really, 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 since I was 13, I've wanted to win the Ellery, right? It's the AHL coverage award. Usually it's given to like the team, like a team person. Like Bob Kazer's won it. The guy from Coachella Valley won it. Like they're um it's usually someone who works for a team because they do put in a lot of work into covering their team or the AHL. There have been some writers who've won it as well, like Patrick Williams. And so I was like, this is the year. This is the year it could happen because the Griffins are so hot. And I got so focused on winning that award. Um, I went so hard at trying to do coverage. And I also was so focused on like, why don't people that are fans of the Red Wings, why don't they read my stuff? Why aren't they talking to me? And I stopped, I stopped having fun. All of this winning was happening, this beautiful, magnificent win streak, this hot, hot team that I was covering. I'm in the locker room. It's everything that I've ever wanted in covering a team. And I had zero joy. None. My questions were bad. I was always stressed out. The amount of joy I had was zero. It might have been negative. I was very joyless. And I just was like, I would go to my day job and I would put my best foot forward for everyone, and it would be exhausting. And then I would just come home and I would sleep. I'd sleep a lot. And so I didn't put stuff up because I was super depressed. And it took me going to the All-Star Classic to become undepressed. Because in that moment when I was there for it's basically like 3 or 4 days, I was only doing the one thing that I love. I was only focused on the AHL, and things like the All-Star game or like outdoor games or big events, those like my Super Bowl, right? Like the AHL All-Star game is my Super Bowl. Okay. Events like this, they just feed me. And on top of that, it was like getting to put names and faces together of people that I've maybe, met like via online. But also just like the amount of respect that the league gives me. Like Stephen Thompson, Jason Chamovich, Scott Howson, and then even like Morgan Price, she does social stuff for the league. And I felt so appreciated, and like they take me seriously, right? And when people take you seriously, it kind of like invigorates you, right? And it really put me like in the right place moving forward. It also helped that I had two people there with me who I adore and respect and who make life fun. You know, it was nice to have the Hockey Town West boys there in the hotel room with me. Like Brandon and I probably stayed up till like 3 or 4 every morning, at least. um, Decompressing about the day and talking about everything that happened. And it was nice. It's what I've wanted from covering. Like I have my own site, but I don't want to cover alone, right? Like I like people. I like being around people. I am a people person. um, and so it got me in like the right place. But then when I came home, I started to, pound out the articles, and I could tell that I needed to just pull back and make sure that this wasn't just like a flash in the pan, right? That I like, oh, I'm good. And then all of a sudden I have this nasty crash out, right? I needed to make sure that I was good. And that I wasn't going to need help. Like, I did talk to a counselor, but that I didn't need to be like, take a more serious, an even more serious approach. Because I have a tendency to not recognize right away when I'm struggling. So I was like, you know what? You gotta pull back and make sure that you're not just flying high and you're gonna crash. And honestly, it was a good thing that I did that because I, when I was decompressing, once I got home about the whole thing, I had a little bit of like, I guess you could call it survivor's guilt. I was dealing with some grief. Um, for those who are new to this podcast, my best friend, one of my best friends, he was like my brother. He was a firefighter right outside of Chicago in a town called Midlothian. And in 2013, he He died by suicide. And we loved the Ice Hogs. I've always loved the Monsters, having lived in Northeast Ohio for so long. But I grew up right outside of Chicago. And, I grew up a Hawks fan. And the team didn't really come on the scene until I think it was like after I moved away, the Ice Hogs. Um, but because I stayed in touch with everyone, you know, the Ice Hogs have been one of my favorites. And our favorite, I mean, I've always loved Jack Skilly, but our favorite was Chris Versteeg. And I got the chance to interview him, right? And I was so excited about it. I didn't cry. I was very excited. I was very professional. But then I get home and I'm looking back on it and it was weird to not be able to call him up and talk to him about it. And you know what though? I went through this same exact feeling when I started covering the Monsters because one of our favorite Blackhawks was John Madden. And for those of you who, like I said, are just joining me, I got credentialed, and then a few days later, he was named the head coach of the Monsters. So I went through that whole season where like everything was surreal, and I just totally missed my best friend even more because I was doing this thing that I loved and enjoyed, but without him. And so I was like, I got to get this in check. I need to get this in check before I go full force. I mean, the season was already in full swing, right? Um, but I didn't put up as much. I took a few more breaks than I typically do to make sure that I was good, right? So here we are. I am good. I definitely am glad that I took those breaks. I am a little upset that I had let things get so bad that like I needed all of that resetting, but that's life. And I can't beat myself up on it. I can't change the past. I can only do things moving forward. And that's what I'm going to do. And I do have all-star articles still, going to go up. They're going to go up over the next month as the season winds down. The good thing about me that I was taught when I was in high school is to always make sure that when you're writing something or when you are interviewing someone, that you also grab quotes that can make it evergreen, which means readable later or writable later. And I've found ways to expand upon these pieces so that these quotes and these conversations I have just don't go to waste, right? I don't want to be that person that just interviews and never sees the light of day because honestly, some of the interviews I did, some of the things I experienced, they were amazing, right? I mean, asking both Patrick Sharp and Chris Versteeg about the AHL, right? Everyone wants to ask about the NHL. That's fine. I'm an AHL girly. I love the AHL. I love everything it stands for. And so getting to be able to ask NHL players about their time in the AHL and what it did for them and some of their best memories, it made my soul sing. Getting to talk with Wendell Young, such a great man. I covered the Wolves on and off leading into this season, and I never had face-to-face time with Wendell Young. There was a few times I talked to him like over the phone, really quick, but this was a one-on-one face-to-face, and he is the most passionate man about sports in general, but about Chicago and the Chicago Wolves. It's just making me smile so much. And I also want people to see like the beauty of Rockford, right? Like when I was there, the people of Rockford were so fantastic, so wonderful. Everyone I met was like a blessing. I don't know I don't know how else to explain it. They were like a blessing, okay? I also got a chance to interview people who were part of the coaching mentorship. And I think it's such a great program. And I love that Scott Howson buys into stuff like that and loves to build others up and want them to experience the things that he had when he was going through everything. He wants people to have those connections. He wants everyone to learn. He loves hockey. He wants to grow the game in different ways, and that's one of them. So I really can't wait to share all of those with you. I know that people are like, "Oh, it's old news." It's not old news. It's a little old news. But I'm finding ways to make it not. And if it's too old newsy-ish, they'll just be a Throwback Thursday article. Everybody loves those. Everybody loves those. So thank you, all of you, for your patience. Thank you to everyone who did check in on me when they were like, what's up? What's going on? This is not you. I really appreciate it. For those who thought it was odd and touched base, for even people who had never met me before, I appreciate you. And I love you for that. All right, we're done being serious. I'm sorry, that's probably taken up like 20 minutes of the beginning. And I'm sure there are people who are like, all right, Elaine, I came here to talk about hockey. Yes, yes, I am here to talk hockey. All right, so as I said earlier, because it's Monday, this is the beauty of the Grand Rapids Griffins, where typically I find one or two things that I find beautiful about what the Grand Rapids Griffins have done the week before. However, because I took so much time off, I have decided that tonight will be the top 5 things that I thought were beautiful since the All-Star Break came back in February. Now, moving forward, these will be released again on Mondays. Knock on wood, keep your fingers crossed. Let's go. We're going to finish this season strong. Yeah, we're going to finish the season strong. Yes, we are. Now, before I hop into those top 5 moments, there is one thing that I will be updating every Monday as well, and that is the Grand Rapids Griffins Charitable Goals updates. So throughout the season, they have charitable partners. And so when someone scores a goal, or when there's a power play goal, a charity gets money. Okay. So I'm going to kind of read through the ones that we have and give you the update of how much money has been already donated this season. All right, are we ready? Let's go. So, for every goal that John Leonard scores during the 2025-26 season, Acrisure will donate $100 per goal to the Griffins Youth Foundation. John Leonard has 29 goals, so that's $2,900. Edwards Tralmax, every time he scores a goal, BHS Insurance donates $100 to Feeding America West Michigan. He currently sits at 20 goals for the season, So $2,000 will be donated to Feeding America West Michigan. Michael Brandsett Nygaard is also part of this. Now he is up top right now. But during this season, whenever he scores a goal, Centennial Securities will donate $50 per goal to Kids Food Basket. Currently has 16 goals, so that's $800. Now, this one, this next one, I want to remind you that it is for home, not all. So the number seems low, but it's not as low as you think. For every for every Grand Rapids Griffins power play goal at home, Chick-fil-A will donate $100 to Mel Trotter Ministries. There are 15 power play goals that have been scored at home this season, so that is $1,500 that will be donated. For every goal that Amadeus Lombardi scores this season, Consumers Credit Union will donate $100 to Fostering Future Scholarship Fund. Right now, Lombardi has 10 goals. So he's sitting at $1,000 that will be donated to Fostering Future Scholarship Fund. Sheldon Dries is also up with the big club. He very much deserves it. He has been phenomenal this season. So right now, he's not racking up any goals down in Grand Rapids, but he'll be back eventually. So for every goal that Sheldon Dries scores this season, Fox Motors will donate $100 to the Griffins Youth Foundation. Dries currently has 20 goals, so that is $2,000. Now, I'm not going to lie, I really like the way they do this next one. It's for the goaltenders, and that is just all goaltenders. So I like that they don't ride on a specific goaltender, and because of that, more money can be donated to charity. So, for every save that a Griffins goaltender makes, Kilwins will donate $1 to Kids Food Baskets. So far, the Griffins goaltenders have made 1,534 saves this season. So that's $1,534 that will be donated to Kids Food Basket. Dominic Shine, he's also currently up in Detroit. Very much deserved. Long time coming. Honestly, I hope after this season we don't see him back. I hope he gets to finish out his career in the NHL. I really do. Because he deserves it. He's worked hard. He's put in the work. He does everything right. And every year his skills just get better and better. And who doesn't love a good glow up? Okay? Especially when it's a hometown boy. But right now, but when he comes back, $50. But when he comes back, for every goal that he scores, Meyer will donate $50 to the Jamie Daniels Foundation. He currently has 21 goals, so that is $1,000. So that is $1,050 that will be donated to the Jamie Daniels Foundation. Austin Watson. For every goal that he scores this season, Planet Fitness will donate $50 to the Boys and Girls Club. Right now, he sits at 11 goals, so that's $550 that will be donated. And the final one, I like this one too. For every successful home penalty kill that the Griffins have, Tito's Vodka will donate $25 to the Humane Society of West Michigan. There have been 77 successful penalty kills in Van Andel Arena. So, $1,925 will be donated to the Humane Society of West Michigan. I love things like this. This is one of my favorite things. It's a great way to get involved in the community without always having to send players out there. This season can be grueling. It can be grinding. It can be a lot, right? And to be able to still help the community while you're playing is phenomenal. And it's a great way to promote the different organizations in the area. It's a great way to highlight what they do. I love it. So moving forward, I will take a few of them and explain what it is that they do for the community or do in the community. So you can also get to know about these different charitable organizations. So keep an eye on that. We'll hopefully watch all these numbers grow and grow and grow as the season goes along, which is going to end. The regular season is going to end in a little under a month. So there's still time, though, to make those numbers grow. All right. So let's hop into the top 5 beauty moments of the Grand Rapids Griffins since the All-Star Break came back. Number 5. The Grand Rapids Griffins clinched a playoff spot in February. In February. Gonna let that soak in a minute. Let that marinate in your brain. The Grand Rapids Griffins clinched a playoff spot in February. February 27th, to be exact. This is the earliest clinching date in team history. Okay. Now, in the 2003-2004 season, they did clinch it on March 6th. It's like a week earlier than their best time of clinching. This is also the earliest an AHL team since 1992-93, when the Binghamton Rangers clinched on February 24th with 24 games remaining. It's wild. I love it. And you know what I love even more? Okay. What I love even more is that the team cares. They care. However, they want all the goals. They want to be first in the Central Division. They want to be first in the West Conference, and they want to be first in the league, and they want that Calder Cup. Okay. They want it right now as it stands. Okay. They have clinched a bye. That's great. They have clinched the bye week, which is great. However, they are second in the league. Providence Bruins, they've been sneaky. They've just been consistently hot, I guess you could say. Maybe like a nice rolling boil, you could say, all season. They currently have 95 points. The Griffins currently have 92. Providence is 47, 13, 1, and 0, while Grand Rapids is 44, 13, 3, and 1. I will say this. I initially thought that Providence was doing well because they didn't play as many teams. They usually see the same teams over and over. This year, not even close to the case. I think that when I tallied it up, they had seen around 13 different teams. It could be 12, but it's more than the Griffins have seen. Okay. So that's a little bit more telling of how well the Bruins play. So to get that top spot, the Griffins are really going to need to go on a heater here towards the end of the season. They're a pretty good road team, and they're about to play most of their games on the road. So that's good, I guess. Now, I'm going to put in a clip, though, from Steph Julian, the power play coach. He is wonderful. I enjoy interviewing him. I watched him coach when he was in the queue. I loved the power play he did there. It didn't translate well right away to the AHL, but with players like Michael Brandsegg-Nygaard and Sheldon Dries and John Leonard, it definitely does well with them on it. Now, I did ask him if they've gotten a chance to kind of enjoy and soak in this historical season, this win, this clinch that they got so early. And he had some really beautiful things to say. So I will play that for you now. As a coach, is there a sense of kind of satisfaction that you guys have clinched in a playoff spot in February?
That's pretty impressive. Honestly, as a coaching staff, shout out to the players, to clinch that early in the season. I've been in the playoff. It's very impressive. The year we had this year broke all those records and clinched in the playoff very early. As a coaching staff, can be more happier.
Yeah, when you started here, going from the queue to here, did you think that you guys would have this success so fast from when you and Dan and everyone started to now?
Well, be honest with you, we talk sometimes about it, and when we go back to day one and where we are right now, we're very proud of the process of everything, how we change the culture and the team, how we build a success organization the last 3 years, and now we did a lot of good things, and with the year we have this year, I think if we can go as far as we can in the Color Cup, will be a great season.
Yeah, it's good. Number 4. Edwards Trailmax, the Olympian. Edwards Trailmax made quite a name for himself at the 2026 Olympics. Heading into the quarterfinals this year, Trailmax was tied for 4th in goals, 3, and tied for 17th in points with 4 among all players in the men's tournament. From the Griffins side of things, for 6 of the last 7 Olympics, an active member of Grand Rapids has been loaned to their country's national team. 7 players, including Trailmax, have been sent to the Olympics while on the active roster. And here's a fun little Trailmax stat for you. Trailmax's 3 goals equaled the goal total of the other 6 combined, and his 4 points were 1 less than the point total of the other 6. So while Trailmax didn't take home a medal, I would say he had a very successful 2026 Olympics. When he came back, we had the chance to talk to him. he wasn't necessarily, happy with the result because he is always wanting to be the best. But he did have fun, and what I thought was great is that he got to be around his family, and then he got to spend time with his family afterwards. He went home and got to spend some time with them. When you live in Europe and you play in America, and I know most of these guys are used to it by now, it doesn't mean it doesn't get to them every once in a while. It doesn't mean they don't want to see their families, right? Um, and I love that he got that chance to go see them. I loved seeing all of the pictures with him and his teammates. Elvis Merzlikins posted so many great photos, and he looked like he had a blast with Edwards. So it was definitely great to see that, and it was great to see him have success, and people are finally taking notice of Edwards. And there is this rumor going around that he has a contract on the table overseas, and honestly, I know that it would set him up for quite some time money-wise. It's hard to say no to money to play a sport that you love. But there's a lot of people taking note, and if he can be more defensively sound as a forward, there are teams in the NHL that will want him. He might have to be like a bubble player for another year, but I definitely could see him playing in the NHL here soon. But obviously, up to him on what he wants to do and where he wants to go. And if he's ready to give up that dream of playing in the NHL. But it was really cool to hear lots of people talking about Edwards Traumax, the guy that we've been talking about all season, and hearing them be like, oh, he's the real deal. Yeah, we know. We know. Number 3. Carter Mazur's back, everybody. Woo-hoo! Carter Mazur is back. He returned on March 4th. The last time we saw him in a game was October 24th. Now, the Hockey Town West boys and I, we did see him at practice when he got injured, and that was rough. We were like, ooh, that's going to be a long time before we see him again. But he came back from injury, and he had a 2-point night. 2 points. Dos. 2. 2 of them. 1 goal, 1 assist. And then he goes and has a goal the next night. he he's been so much fun to watch. I'm glad he's healthy. I'm glad things are going well for him. I love that when asked about, his injuries and stuff, he said, yeah, that stuff takes a mental toll, but the team set him up with good people. Good therapist, physical therapist, good trainers to make sure he wasn't coming back too soon. And also his whole family has been around. His whole family was around for that game, and I love that they got to see him come back and just do so well. Do so well. I mean, he's such a he's such a good kid, right? Like everyone in Detroit loves him. Like fans love him. They kept asking us all the time, when is he coming back? When is he coming back? And we're like, we don't actually know. Um, like when we know, we'll probably tell everyone. Unless we're not supposed to, then we're not going to tell you. But we he's so humble, and he loves playing this game. You just see it. You see it. You see it in his eyes when he's on the ice. You see it in his stance. And I love the way he plays with John Leonard, and I think that John Leonard feels really comfortable with him. You know, he's got the zoomies all the time. Carter does. Like he's like zip 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 up and down the ice. And for a guy like John Leonard to know that he can pass the puck ahead and know it's not going to get picked off by the opponent because you're going to actually be there to get it and then skate it in for a goal or a shot attempt. John Leonard's going to love that. That's where he's going to thrive, right? And so I think it's beautiful that he's back. I think it's beautiful that he's playing well, and I think it's beautiful that he he has these teammates that can trust him to score or to move the play forward. I mean, John Leonard is a guy that can score. And when you're a scorer and you can trust someone to score instead of you scoring, that says something about you as a player, right? When you've shown time and time again that you can do it and that you're trustworthy with the puck. So Carter Major's back, baby. Hopefully he can stay healthy. But honestly, like sometimes players get hurt a lot, but I think the best part is you can tell a lot by a player by if they get hurt and they come back and how they play. And I swear, every time he comes back from an injury, he's better and better and better. And I have no clue how or why. Um, but this kid is going to go places. I think he's going to be around for a little bit. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see where the rest of the season takes him and what happens next season. Number two, two. More kids in the locker room. More kids. um, After the All-Star, we got to experience more kids in the locker room and not just interacting with their dads. Um, it was so great to see to see other players' kids light up when they saw Amadeus Lombardi. I think that was actually a really great moment for me was watching Ammo, um, talk with Austin Watson and Austin's girls, and they love him. They love him so much. It is so great. um, Same thing with like Edward's Tralmax and the kids. They get so excited to see him. Um, we before Shine got called up, we had a few Cooper Shine appearances. Always the ever popular child. and then um and then Lageson's son. Oh my goodness. Such an adorable child, this kid. He we were in the middle of interviewing him and he did definitely let one loose. He definitely ripped one during the interview. And I tried so hard to keep it together, but like once William and I locked eyes, we just both started laughing. Um, because it was hilarious. And then and then William goes to leave. He's like, "All right, we're going." And he's like, "Bye, Dad." Like he just wanted to stay. He wanted to stay and see what happened next. And it's just such a great it's such a great atmosphere. Like it's like Austin Watson said earlier in the season. I asked him about it being like a family. And he said, yeah, he goes, people say it. People say it on other teams like, "Oh yeah, we're like a family." He was like, "But this team is family. This team is a family." And you can see it with the way the kids are with the other players on the team. You can see it with the way they are with Dog, the equipment manager. Um, you can see it with the way the kids are with other family members of the players, like players' siblings or wives and girlfriends, or their parents. Like this team is a family. It's a big, crazy, happy family. And I feel like even though there's been some struggles with the team, consistency, they're not stringing together as many wins as they would like. They are all still super close, and I feel like the team is just getting stronger and stronger and closer, even when they bring in other guys. Um, so I love, I absolutely love it. Um, it is, it's beautiful, and it's a part of sports you don't always um, get to see, right? And I love that we get to see that side, and I love that we get to share that with everyone. Um, because some of these guys are like, oh, Dominic Shine, he's a tough guy, and oh, Austin Watson, he's aggressive and he's a tough guy, and these guys, they're just they're so strong and surly, and I'm like, see them with their kids, okay? Those kids have them wrapped around their finger. They they love them, and it's a different side, and like I said, I love that we get to share that with you. And the top beautiful moment that we experienced while covering the Grand Rapids Griffins after the All-Star break is reunited, and it feels so good. Brandon Hawkins and Dan Watson were reunited for a limited time. 2 games. 2 games. Could have been 3 if there wasn't a nice issue. So we'll say 2.1 games they were reunited. Brandon Hawkins is back to back MVP for the ECHL. And where does he play? The Toledo Walleye. Um, and where did Dan Watson coach before the Grand Rapids Griffins? The Toledo Walleye. It was so great to see them back together. The way they talk about each other, it's, Dan Watson says he doesn't have favorites. Am I supposed to believe that? He said there are people who are memorable. Yeah. Um, Hawk being the most memorable. Hawk being someone that he still talks to. And Hawk will do anything to help him. And when the Griffins were down a lot of guys, Hawk stepped in and he played very well. His skills actually did translate quite well to the AHL. Um, I know that he loves Toledo. He loves the ECHL. I wish we could get him up here in Grand Rapids um, the whole time. He's great on the power play. I loved watching him do this in Toledo, and I wasn't sure if it would still happen in the AHL. But on the face-off, on the wings, he he'll stop a guy from going after that puck, the opponent. He will put his body between the moving puck because he knows the puck's going to someone else on the team. And he will just direct them the other way and be like, sorry, not your puck. It's ours. And he does it with a lot of force. And it was great to see at the next level that his skills translate to the next level. Um, I think he could make it up here, whether he wants to now at this point in life or not. I mean, he's literally the mayor. Well, he's not literally the mayor, but he's the mayor of Toledo and is so well respected that It'd be cool. It'd be really cool if he was on an AHL contract and they just had him play in the ECHL and could pull him up whenever they needed him. Sean Horkoff, if you're listening, it's a great idea. I got lots of ideas, but this one's my best one. um, but really, for me, it was seeing that relationship between a player and his coach, right? A coach that he played for in the ECHL and then had a chance to play for in the AHL. Um, and I've seen that, obviously with Sebastian Kosa and him and a few other players in him, but really like they have such great respect for each other and their brains when it comes to hockey are incredible. Like if I could sit there and break down games with Brandon Hawkins and Dan Watson at the same time, I would be the happiest lady on earth because they see things that maybe not everyone sees, right? And they're stats oriented, but also eye test oriented. And sometimes they're doing different things. They're like, oh, well, based on like, I see it with Dan Watson, like, he knows the stats. He's a stats dude. He's said it. He loves, he loves a good stat. I wish we had access to all those stats, so that I could also love those good stats as well. But the way his brain works when it comes to plays, when it comes to the ins and outs of hockey, it's the same way Brandon Hawkins' brain works too. I can tell. I This was my first time being able to interview him. The Hockey Town West boys interview him all the time. And I love consuming that content because it's good. The things he has to say about the game are so good. And he can be a Dan Watson one day. He can be this like ECHL coach slash GM and work his way up. He could also be that because they are so similar. Their brains are so fantastic, but they're also just dudes. Like they're just a dude, you know, their whole life isn't just hockey and they're just like a dude you could hang out with. I mean, I would assume. I've never hung out with them. But the vibe, the vibe I get is that like that's the vibe I get. Like I said, when guys like Brandon Hawkins get a chance to show their skills at the next level and do well when they do it and younger kids learn from him. I noticed I noticed Gabriel Seeger adding a few things to his toolbox after Hawk was on the team for 2 days. I noticed a few of the wingers picking up things that he did on the face off, um, on the outsides, on the wings of the face off, trying to do what he did. 2 games, 2 games. And you see that players took what he did and are applying it to their game. That doesn't always happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've covered the AHL for 10 years, and I'll tell you this, that doesn't always happen. And there's not always that respect for ECHL players that come in. But here at Grand Rapids, it doesn't matter if you're Brandon Hawkins or Dufour or William Dufour. It doesn't matter. The guys here look at you and say, you're here for a reason. I can learn from you. You can learn from me. We're a team. That's part of what makes it so beautiful that he and Dan reconnected for these games because people are able to see even more what their coach can do and who their coach has coached. And I think it just brings a whole other aspect to the game that we don't always get to see or talk about um, or even recognize, right? There is something about the confidence that you can get from a coach after you see how he was with his past team and how well they're doing and still doing, and how he gives guys, he emboldens them. Okay. He emboldens them to be who they are. We see it with Dominic Shine. Like, he's had this massive glow up, and it's not because he didn't have the tools, right? He always had the tools. I always saw them. I remember when I was covering during the Zoom press conferences, and I would always ask about, like, when he'd do something skillful, and he would light up about it because it was no longer about punching guys or because he was being a deputy. It was about his skills. And Dan Watson saw that too. And he just let him go. He let him fly. He let him go. He was like, fly, little birdie. Take your skills and do amazing things with them. And he does that with every single player. And then you see a guy like Hawk, right? Back-to-back MVP champ. And he's still, you wouldn't even think he was back-to-back MVP, right? You would not think he was back-to-back MVP. And I say that not from watching him play. I say that from having a conversation with him. It's just like Dan. Okay, that's cool. That was last year. That was the year before. That's great. That's this year. Let's move forward. Let's celebrate it in the moment, but let's move forward. And when you're a team that's struggling, when you've been hot all season and you have a guy like Brandon Hawkins come up, I think that helps reinvigorate. It helps you find different parts of you that you can hone, because you're realizing this guy is a real deal. He probably should be playing in the AHL. Not probably. This guy should be playing in the AHL, okay? He should be here in Grand Rapids more often based on his skill, okay? I will double down, triple down, quadruple down on that. I do not care. He should be here, but he's not. But him being here, I think it made the team take a little bit of a look at things that they needed to hone, because like I said, I'm seeing guys add different things to their repertoire that they didn't have before. And that's exciting. It's really exciting because it also shows that these guys, they don't care who you are. They don't think that they're the best of the best and feel like they can be better. And if they see someone have a skill that they can apply to their game, they're going to start learning it. And that gives me hope for this team and the future of this team and the future of this team, not just this season, but next season, or even for their own careers, even if they don't stay here in Grand Rapids or in the Wings organization. The fact that they were able to look at him and go, I like that. It's a good point. I like what he's doing. And then apply it to his game, their game. Chef's kiss. Love it, love it, love it. Now, I am going to include the interview, pieces of the interview that we did with Dan Watson and Brandon Hawkins, because they were good. I love the way they talk about each other, and I want you guys to hear it. So I'm going to include those in this right now.
Can you share just your conversation or your call with Brandon Hawkins and get him up here this
It went like this. Hawk, he's like, hey, Waddy. I said, do you want to come to Grand Rapids to play a couple games? And he's like, give me an hour to think about it. He called me back. He's like, I'm in. And that's exactly how it went. And we found a flight. He was down in Savannah with the team, and we flew him in here. yeah, and obviously he was excited to play tonight. Didn't get a chance, so we'll see him tomorrow.
How was it to have him back here with you?
Oh, good. I mean, we're still staying in contact. I've had him for a number of years, and as a coach, you have it's not favorites, but you have players that you coach who are memorable, coaches who made impact on yourself, and he's one of those guys. Obviously respect what he's done and how he plays the game. So, with all the guys we had called up and the offense we were going to be missing, the power play as well. It's one of those things that you might as well grab the best guy available for that spot, and knowing what he can do, knowing he'd be excited, he was the call.
What was it like to be back with Dan?
Awesome. He's tremendous to play for. He's always communicated with me well, and anytime I get the chance to play for him, I'll do it.
Did you have Coach to give Postava a heads up about your shots in practice?
I think he did already. But we had our fun.
Yeah. No,
Thanks,
that's
Hawk.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Don't you just love it? It's so great, right? I don't know. It makes my soul sing. Also, speaking of kids, Hawk was holding his kid the whole entire time, and I loved it. Loved it, loved it, love it. Like I said, I love it when the kids are around because you get to see this other side of the team, and they don't look at their families like a burden. They want to bring them along for the ride. And that's truly the most beautiful thing about this team this year. All right, my lovelies. I hope that you have the best week. I will be back later this week with a non-hockey episode. Ooh, I know. We're going to try and get back to some normalcy here. Okay, guys? Thank you for bearing with me, like I said. And you know what? I want to know what you saw beautiful this week. I want you to tell me the things that you thought were beautiful. So on any of social medias, preferably TikTok, Twitter /X, Instagram, or even Facebook, just hashtag graced by rain. Okay. I want to hear the beautiful things that you saw this week. So hashtag that. Send me a message on any of my socials. At me, whatever. Share your beauty, but not just with me. Share it with everyone. The world has been so ugly. Okay. We're feeding into this ugliness, and I want to see some beauty. And I know there's a lot of beauty out there. You just have to open your eyes, find it. All right, everyone. See you back here next Monday. And remember to be kind and love always. My theme music is One Light by Nick Wilkinson and the Featured Players. You can find their latest album, Live, Volume 1, on Bandcamp and Spotify. Live Volume 1 was recorded in front of a live audience on May 26, 2017 at Jilly's Music Room in Akron, Ohio.